Hello everybody, and welcome to OC Spotlight. I'm your host for today, Ethan Hodgkins, and we have a very special guest for today, Mr. Larry, better known online as Zeepster, here to talk about online content creation. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Ethan. Happy to be here.
All right, and I'm going to start out with a pretty, generic question. What sort of content do you make?
I make videos about, well, basically anything, but for the purposes of this conversation, lost media. I talk about like lost episodes of TV shows, some random lost song or whatever. That's basically what I make my content on, primarily.
And what's your most popular video?
The Breaking Bad iceberg. Right up there, there's Walter White. Yeah, that's like sitting at 2 million views. Gets me a couple thousand views per month. Gives me some money in return too, so that's not too bad.
Are there any other popular videos that you personally like more, or is that also one of your favorites?
That one's like pretty okay, but I like that one up there, Mystery of Abandoned Aesthetics. I put a lot of heart into that one. A lot of like tears went into that one as well, so big fan of that one.
All right, and I guess kind of moving on to a different question. How did you get your start in content creation?
I got my start 8 years ago at this point. I'm getting old. I got my start just making videos about politics and history, but over time that progressed to me changing topics as the channel grew and saw how the algorithm reacted towards me uploading some different niches.
And how has the experience been so far as a content creator?
It's been good. It's been pretty good, but also it's not to say it's like the greatest job of all time. It's like no stress, because a part of your stress does come from the YouTube algorithm. And the YouTube algorithm is, it likes you and it hates you. At some moments you feel like the top of the world if you upload a video that does pretty well, but if you upload a video that doesn't do pretty well, then the YouTube algorithm lets you know. So stressful, but very rewarding, very rewarding.
All right, and is there a way that you like kind of navigate the YouTube algorithm, or is it just kind of all up to fate?
If it was up to fate, I'd have to probably try and change like professions, because that's not reliable. There are some reliable videos that I make, like series that I create that usually nets me like say 100,000 views. That give me decent pay due to AdSense and sponsorships as well.
All right, and would you say it's difficult to navigate that algorithm, or is it just like, I guess, being on top of it, like always sticking with what you're normally doing, I guess?
It's, I'd say 50-50. It's kind of difficult because YouTube is constantly changing in terms of what they want, what type of videos they want, how long they want you to make it. But overall, if you're like researched well enough, I think it's manageable.
All right, and we'll be taking a break soon, but I guess I want to ask, you had already talked about 2 of these videos. Is there any other specific video that you really like wish more people had seen?
That would have to be my 2023 year in review video. That's a 2-hour video, and each year I make annual reviews about the year, and they don't do too well, but I do it as a hobby. So.
All right, and we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. Welcome back to OC Spotlight. Once again, I'm Ethan Hodgkins with guest Larry, also known online as Zeepster.
Let's go, Ethan, let's go.
All right. So you had talked before the break about AdSense and sponsors. Is that how you make money off of YouTube?
Yeah, yeah. So AdSense is, so YouTube pays you a certain amount of money depending on how long your video is and how many views it gets. And it also varies on like the month as well. Say like December will be a way better month because people are watching a lot more YouTube videos than January, which is like the most dead month on YouTube, where many YouTubers don't even bother uploading at all during that month. So it's dependent on AdSense, but also on sponsorships as well.
It's interesting that there's different months that have, I guess, different amounts of viewership. I guess I really wouldn't have thought of that. But you talked about AdSense. As far as sponsors go, do you reach out and find those yourself, or?
I actually have a company who works with me called NanoZebra, who goes and finds those sponsorships for me. They make negotiations with those sponsorships, saying like, hey, we'll pay your creator this amount of money if they make like an advertisement on like our desk or whatever. That's my most recent sponsor that I did. It was about a desk, and it nets you a good amount of change at the end of the month.
And did you reach out and find this company yourself, or did they actually come and find you?
They talked to my sponsorship company, and because they have a group of say 100 creators. I'm one of the 100 creators that they recommend to, and then NanoZebra hits me up like, do you want to work with them? Like, yeah, sure.
And what about NanoZebra itself? Did you look for them, or did they come to you?
They came to me. I had a YouTube buddy who made a company, and that was NanoZebra. And he was just like, do you want to be one of the creators? I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so just a mutual friend then is how you
Yeah.
got in touch with them. All right, and is there any advice that you could give somebody new coming into YouTube?
Yeah, consistency. That's number one. Because the YouTube algorithm is kind of luck-based, but also in order to overcome that, just keep uploading videos, and eventually something will hit the algorithm. You just got to keep on trying over and over again.
And is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience before we wrap up?
Subscribe to Zeepsterd. And also, if you want to make YouTube videos, keep doing it. Consistency. Number one.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today. Once again, I'm Ethan Hodgkins, and we will see you next time on OC Spotlight.
Hello folks, and welcome to this week's OC Spotlight. My name is Jacob Harkey, and I'll be your host. Today, we have a very special guest. Carter Kirkable is a student athlete who plays competitively for the Saddleback College water polo team. Shortly, we'll be getting into some of his journey about his journey as an athlete, balancing his athletic commitments with his academic ones, as well as what we can expect to see in the upcoming season from the Saddleback College water polo team. How are you today, Carter?
Doing great. I love that introduction.
Glad to hear it. So getting right into it, for folks who may be unfamiliar with the sport, could you explain briefly what water polo is?
Yeah, so water polo, as I explained, is kind of a combination of basketball, hockey, and soccer all in the water. So it's a lot of different things. A lot of people think it's horses in the water because of polo, but no, it's actually a game where you're trying to score more goals than the other team by shooting into someone else's net. So it's kind of the same thing as soccer. So you're trying to score more goals than the other team, but it's a very physical sport, just kind of like hockey.
Well, thanks for sharing. And I'm sure that some folks are curious to know, how did you get into water polo?
Yeah, so I actually didn't start playing water polo right away. My first sport was football. I played football from kinder to 8th grade. I still coach football now. I really enjoy it. I still love the sport. But in 8th grade, I started playing tackle, and I ended up getting a concussion my first year and decided, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I had no idea what I was going to do in high school. I thought I was going to do any sports. And a friend of mine said, hey, come out and try water polo with me. And he was trying out for the first time. I said, okay, I'll go do it. And so I had swam before. I had played football. I knew how to throw. I knew how to swim. And so, yeah, everything kind of correlated, and I just kept going. I kept doing it.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. And could you share, are there any fun memories that you would want to share from high school or from your experience so far in college?
Yeah, for sure. So two of the biggest ones. My first one is my trip overseas. I took it with my club team. We went to Serbia, to Romania, and Hungary. Just an amazing trip. We got to go over there, play against some great players, even got to play inside an indoor little pool that even it was snowing outside. You could see the snow. It was super, super exciting. And secondly, big trip this year with Saddleback, we actually got to go to Connecticut. So we played at College, we played some big teams, and we also got to visit New York over there. So those are the two biggest things. Super exciting. They're both correlated to water polo. I'd never have the opportunity if I wasn't playing.
Yeah, I'm jealous of some of the travel opportunities you guys have had. That sounds like a lot of fun. So I'm curious, could you bring us up to speed with present day? Are you guys currently in season? Are you in off season?
Yeah, so right now we're in off season. So we're doing swim and we're also doing some water polo off season. So we're mainly in swim season, so swimming a ton.
I believe it. And in swim season, which events do you specialize in?
Yeah, so I swim the 1650, the 500 freestyle, and the 200 backstroke.
Okay, very cool. And before we get into a break, could you share in a few sentences what it's like balancing your commitments as an athlete with your commitments as a student?
Yeah, I would say I'm very, very lucky. The CTVR staff, the program I'm in, they're very, very accommodating to me as a water polo athlete. And so, I mean, I'm able to manage my time. I'd say keeping my calendar up is one of the biggest things that helps me.
That's awesome. That's good that there are supports in place to help you navigate all of the challenges that you face as well. I'm curious to know, in a word or maybe in a few words, how would you describe your experience so far playing water polo for Saddleback?
Hard, difficult, but rewarding.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I am looking forward to getting into a little bit deeper dive into the gameplay once we come back from the break. So we will see you right after a quick announcement. Welcome back, folks. I'm Jacob Harkey, and I'm here once again with water polo player Carter Kirkable. Carter, before the break, you shared some information about the game of water polo, comparing it to other sports like soccer and basketball. I'm curious to dive a bit deeper into that. Could you describe in more detail what a game looks like from the start?
So right away, it's a little bit different than basketball. There's no tip-off or something like that. Right away, there's a sprint. So both sides, they sprint towards the ball, and whoever gets it first gets the sprint and is able to start on offense. So the offense, how it works is a little bit like basketball. It's a numbered system. So it's 1 through 6, 1, 2 attackers, 4 or 5 attackers on the right, and then you have your set and your set guard, which set guard is 3. And so it's a very, very difficult game, but it's really exciting. You're able to run some cool plays.
Gotcha. And out of those positions that you named, which positions do you typically play?
In high school, I actually played set guard, which I don't play as much anymore. Now I play on the 1-2 side attacker. I shoot from the outside and more set it into the set.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. And as far as comparing to other sports like basketball and soccer, when it comes to things like fouls and penalties, what would get a foul called in water polo?
Yeah, so one of the biggest fouls that happens a lot of the time is touching the ball with 2 hands. You're not allowed to touch the ball with 2 hands, kind of like in soccer. You can't touch the ball with your hands. So that's an automatic turnover. For regular fouls, usually it's based off the refs, but if you get hit in the arm with the ball or it gets pushed under, something like that, that'll be also a foul. And ejections are normally when someone pushes you under with 2 hands or is a little bit more violent.
Well, I'm glad that you clarified that you can only touch the ball with 1 hand, because I was hoping that you would be able to show me a little bit about what does play and catch in water polo or with a water polo ball look like.
For sure. So usually you get in this type of stance. So you have your ball right back here, kind of have it in like a waiter type of thing. You have your left leg in front, right leg behind, and you pass just like this, kind of trying to get some backspin on the ball there.
I see. Looks like maybe you're a little bit more adept with getting the spin than I am, but
no worries.
you are the one on the team.
Yes, yeah.
So if we were playing a game here, and
Yes.
let's say that you just won the sprint, now you would be looking for somebody to pass to in the water. Well,
Yeah, so like if you're here, you get up, you get on your legs, and you'll be able to pass it inside to like a set player.
Gotcha. Very cool. And as that's happening, I assume that that's when other folks would be getting into those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions around the goal, right?
Yeah. They'd be getting ready for either a set design play or just their position.
Very cool. And if folks want to keep in touch with what's going on with the team, where could they go to do that?
Yeah, you go to saddlebackbobcats.com.
Saddlebackbobcats.com. Well, I encourage folks who are at home to do that to keep up with the athletics team. Thank you to Carter Kirkcable. My name is Jacob Harkey. We'll see you soon.